Hi, Adam Brsan here. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I just wanted to post a quick video. I keep seeing a lot of posts online from new agents, maybe people who they see the value in writing some final expense business. They really want to do well in the business, but they seem to be struggling. And I felt like sometimes people maybe just don't get the right guidance that they need, and I wanted to put together a few different ideas to maybe help some new agents get the ball rolling so they can do well in this business and make a long-term career out of this. So a little bit about myself for those of you who don't know me. I've actually been in the final expense business now for 15 years. I've been a licensed insurance agent for 16 years. So majority of my time in this business, I've been primarily focused on the final expense market. I've earned several trips and awards through multiple companies as not only a top producing agent, but also a manager. Some agents are good agents. Some managers are good managers, but not every agent makes a good manager. Not every manager makes a good agent. So I've actually succeeded pretty well at both. My primary focus is on mentoring new and or struggling agents in this business. People that, kind of like I mentioned at the beginning of this, people that are new, that maybe just don't really know where to turn for help. And maybe people who have tried to get help, but they haven't gotten the right kind of help. So I like to kind of step in and work with agents, kind of show them what's worked for me. There's not many situations that you could run into out in the field that in 15 years I hadn't already experienced once or twice myself. So, but let's get to it, kind of what I wanted to talk about in regards to what can make you successful in this business as an agent to turn this into a long-term career. First thing and foremost, I think it's very important to find a local mentor. Okay, whether that's me, I'm in the Chicagoland area, or somebody else who's been successful in other parts of the country. I think that finding someone local, someone that can take you out, you can get in the car with them, they can show you what the day looks like. They can show you the ins and the outs of the business. There's so many different people out there that recruit nationally, where they can't really take that one-on-one time with each agent, and they might send out a bunch of videos to watch. It's real easy to send out a video presentation of me doing a laydown, but an agent's really not going to see the big picture by doing that. They're not going to see different things that we can run into out in the field, different scenarios, different situations, different rejections, things like that. Another reason I think that it's important to find somebody local, I think people are just different in different parts of the country. And what works for me in Chicago might not work for somebody down in Florida or California or whatever. I had one agent that reached out to somebody down in Florida, and the person in Florida told my agent, listen, you need to be working the rural areas. Don't focus on the inner city. You got to be going out into the rural areas, people that are not bothered very often with this sort of thing. And maybe that works, but all I have really worked in the last 15 years is more of the inner city, highly populated areas right around Chicago or suburbs that are right outside the city. So what works for one person in one part of the country might not work for another person in another part of the country. I think it's important to ask for proof of production and even proof of income. The reason I say that is that nowadays with social media, it's real easy for anybody to put a camera in front of their face and call themselves an expert. People that might not even have been in the business very long. Maybe they had a few successful months, and then all of a sudden they think that they're good enough to run a large agency, whatever. I think it's important. Get some proof. Get some proof. I want to make sure that this person is legit and that they actually have been successful themselves. So whether that's showing proof of production or income, or I just need to see something. I also want to know that whoever's mentoring me has personally produced at some point in their career. How could somebody who's never gone out and sold final expense mentor somebody on how to be successful selling final expense insurance? I think that it's a different market. It's totally different than any other market. And the way that we do things in final expense are a lot different than other markets. A lot of you maybe have seen some of my posts online where I go on and on about door knocking and how working direct mail leads and door knocking is really my preferred method in doing this business. And I firmly believe that that's the best way to do this. Other markets, maybe that's not the best way to do it. So we have to do things a little bit different. And if someone's never gone out and sold final expense, I mean, it's one thing to mentor somebody on product and underwriting, things like that. But if I was a new agent, I would want someone that was going to teach me how to sell and be the best at running my business to turn this into a career. I'd also like to see this person's group's production. Maybe they're a good personal producer. I'd like to see what other people are doing in their group. Do they have other agents who've been successful that have worked with this person? So get production from the out of the group, or ask whoever you're speaking with that you're thinking about working with if maybe they could refer some of the agents that they have worked with in the past to you, just to kind of hear maybe what that person was able to do for them, things like that. And definitely find out what's in it for you. I mean, that's really what's most important, right? I mean, I know that's kind of everybody in this business. We know what's in it for me. So many different opportunities out there, so many different organizations offering certain things. Some maybe have local training, some maybe don't. Some might have lead programs, some may not. So find out what's in it for you. Are you going to be trained? And is this training going to be online? Is this training going to be face-to-face? Are we going to go out in the field together? Those are things that you need to ask. What kind of training is this going to entail? I mean, are you just going to send me a bunch of videos to watch, or are we actually going to go out in the field? Are you being offered anything more than just a high contract? High contracts are great, but if you don't know what to do with them, you're really going to not get a whole lot out of them. Is there any lead support? I mean, I think it's a lead-driven business, and it's important to have a steady flow of leads. One thing I have found is that sometimes it's very difficult for agents to fund a consistent lead order, especially a new agent who's just getting started. So find out, whoever you're wanting to go work with, if there's any kind of support at all whatsoever in regards to leads, whether the organization you're working with is going to provide you with some leads, maybe at a cut commission rate, maybe they'll cover a portion of the lead expense. See if there's any kind of support when it comes to leads and a good lead program. And find out if there's any kind of potential for growth within the organization. For many people in this business, I mean, it's one thing to be a successful agent, but a lot of people do want to maybe take it a step further and get to the point where they want to grow and build and work with agents themselves. So find out what kind of growth potential there is there. I know some companies maybe already built up quite a bit, or where there's not a whole lot of room to grow. There's other companies out there that are kind of just getting started, where there's plenty of room for growth. So if that's something that is of interest to you, the organization you're speaking with, find out what kind of potential there is there for growth in the future. And order leads weekly. That's very important. It's important to have a steady flow of leads. Me personally, I work direct mail leads. That's my favorite type of lead. You can order those leads by zip code. I can get 20 to 30 leads that are 2 minutes apart from each other, so I can just get so much more done throughout my day without having to drive all over the place. But whatever kind of leads you're able to handle financially, paying for when you're first getting started, whatever. You got to have people to go see. So I recommend order leads weekly and be disciplined with managing your money. I've had agents that have been very successful going out there and writing business that have been in and out of the business because they're not good with managing their money. It's important to take a certain percentage of every sale that you make and invest it back into a lead order. So be sure to be disciplined with managing your money, set money aside to always be able to fund a consistent lead order, or you're not going to last very long in the business. And treat this as just part of your life. Don't really treat it as your typical 9-to-5 job. Enjoy what you do. Become passionate for what you do. It's not a job that's for everybody, or not a career that's for everybody. But in 15 years of doing this, I just kind of feel like if there was something better out there, I would have already found it. And if it didn't work, I would have found something else to do by now. It's a great business. I love what I do every day. I love going out in the field and seeing people, working with agents. I don't really even consider it a job. I just really consider it part of my life, something that I love to do. It's on my mind all day. And I think that's something that once you get passionate for something that you love, you'll be able to take it to the next level. And so that's really about all I had for today, but just a few different things. There's other people out there too who have been successful in the business that want to add to some of these points that I put together. Great. But again, I hope this information was useful to you. And if I could be of any help or support to any of you, if any of you are out there struggling, you need some help, I'm more than happy to work with you, or at least have a conversation with you, whether you're in my area or not. Maybe I could even refer you to some people that I know throughout the country who may be able to help you. So feel free to reach out to me anytime, and good luck.